Good evening, traders. This is CloudChartist with your daily Ichimoku wrap-up. This is my first time doing this not on Ticker TV. I just thought I would give it a shot. So we're going to start off with Crude. I found this to be a very important daily level to point out to everyone. So we see that Crude, after attempting to break over the cloud on Friday, after attempting to break out of the cloud on Friday, this is this candle here, it was unable to maintain outside the cloud and put in a close inside the cloud. Today's candle attempted to breach the cloud briefly, but then sold off and closed just about on the Tenkan-sen. The close was 47.44 and the Tenkan-sen is 47.45. I consider this to be a nice buy setup, buying Tenkan-sen support after a pullback to it. And we see that the current candle has opened above the cloud, or let's see where the open was, 47.46, yes, above the Tenkan-sen, I'm sorry, and is continuing higher right now. So what I expect this candle to do is to perhaps move potentially as high as the top of the cloud at around 49. That area. So if you want to take a long trade based on this daily support, you could get long anytime and use the Tenkan-sen as your stop, or perhaps depending on how much risk you can tolerate, use the just below today's low. You see that the candle today came down and tested just below the Kijun-sen and bounced. One could guess that potentially there are, in fact, I know this to be true, there are algos that use Ichimoku indicators in Crude. I'm not saying that they intentionally took out stops under the Kijun-sen, but it's always possible. So anyway, we do have options expiry coming up on Crude on Wednesday, I believe. So keep that in mind. Could be, anything could happen. But I like the buy setup here, so I thought I would point it out. And let's look at the ES. And we see that the ES is still bullish over the cloud. We are putting in some doji type candles currently, sort of bull flagging above the cloud. It wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised to see price come down and test the cloud, which would be at 1978.63. That's where the top of the cloud is located. Or we could just continue to flag sideways, and then perhaps break higher or break lower, either one. We do have a bull cross underneath the cloud here. Not that important, as the bull cross is below the cloud. It would be more bullish if it was above the cloud, and if it was closer to price. Price is extended above the Tenkan-sen at this point, so the Tenkan-sen needs to catch up in order to act as good support for current price. But overall, in Ichimoku terms, ES is bullish at the moment. Let's look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq also looking similar to the ES on the daily time frame. The bull cross is actually inside the cloud, and the bull cross just happened today. Pretty bullish candle making a new high, and then the new candle opening up inside today's candle. So probably looking at another doji with some sideways consolidation. We do see this prior reversal took place right in this general area, so we could get some oscillation, up and down, perhaps come down, test the top of the cloud. If we do get selling in the Nasdaq, we can expect support to be held at 42.97, the top of the cloud here. And if it goes lower than that, the Tenkan-sen, which is currently at 42.4650 inside the cloud here. Let's look at the Dow. Dow looking similar to the ES and Nasdaq. We do have a flat Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen below inside the cloud. Flats in Ichimoku tend to attract price. So we could have some sellers coming in as price could be attracted to not only the flat cloud top, but also the flat Tenkan-sen and the flat Kijun-sen below. So watch that. On the Dow, if we do sell off, we have support at 16,672, the top of the cloud, and then 16,504 Tenkan-sen below inside the cloud. All throughout the cloud is support in Ichimoku, so I like to think of the clouds as sort of like quicksand. They tend to slow down price action while price action is inside clouds, both through the upside and to the downside. Let's look at some grain charts, shall we? For the corn market today, we saw a bearish candle. We lost the support of the Tenkan-sen inside the cloud. Let me zoom in a little bit more. We lost the support of the Tenkan-sen, where we had previously held the support of the Tenkan-sen, and then we lost it. And oh, actually, I'm sorry. This is today's candle. So on Friday, we lost the support of the Tenkan-sen and sold down here, and then we finished the selling here. Today, the new candle is not open yet because the grain markets don't open until 8, I think. So we did come down, but we did find support at the Kijun-sen, which is important, 380.13. Let's see what the low was, 380.25. So we didn't even quite test the low. So we can look for the Kijun-sen to offer support at 380.13. We also have the Chikou, this red line here representing price time shifted 26 periods into the past, testing the Kijun-sen here. And so we can expect that to potentially hold as support. So it's possible that corn could be a buy setup here for higher prices, but we really need to see it hold the Kijun-sen. If it goes lower, chances are it will test the cloud, and that would be around 376.60. All right, let's look at soybeans. Soybeans are bearish under the cloud also, and have been. This current candle is holding support above the Tenkan-sen, but we're in a tight range here between the Tenkan-sen and the cloud. So just chopping in this little range and finding a lot of sellers coming in as we get closer to the cloud. So nothing particularly bullish to get excited about on soybeans, just bearish but sideways under the cloud. If we do trade lower and lose the support of the Tenkan-sen at 885.25, then we can expect, oh actually let's see, our current price is 887.50. Yeah, so if we lose that 885.25 level, then we can expect potentially a test of the Kijun-sen below at 877.75. And if we lose that, we do have a bunch of prior support, but no real Ichimoku support in this area. So we'll just have to see what see how low it can go if it does go lower. If it goes higher, we have resistance at the cloud, which tomorrow will be, or tonight when it opens, will be at around 975. Let's look at wheat. We today put in a doji candle inside this range between the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen, so nothing doing here. I wouldn't be interested in trying to find an edge either way. This is neutral inside the cloud, and in a range which is between 514.88 the Tenkan-sen and 497.25. I'd want to see some movement outside of that range before I'll be interested in taking a position in wheat. Let's look at oats. Oh, interesting. Oats on a little bullish move came up and put in a doji after trying to break into the cloud. So this looks like a potential trend change candle for a trip lower. And if we do trade lower, then we could potentially find support at the Kijun-sen at 225. if not potentially the Tenkan-sen below at 220 or wherever it opens later. If we do move higher and if you're interested in getting long oats, you want to see a candle close inside the cloud, because that would change the bias of the overall chart from bearish to neutral. And let's look at bean oil. Well, it doesn't look as bad as it has. Soybean oil came down, tested the Tenkan-sen, and looks like it came down and tested the Tenkan-sen once more. This is actually normally I would consider this to be a buy setup, so one might want to try to buy the Tenkan-sen for higher prices. It's currently at 28.09. If you lose the Tenkan-sen, however, you want to watch the bottom of the cloud as support at 27.69 thereabouts, and then the Kijun-sen below that at 27.62. If we do really, find buyers at the Tenkan-sen and move for real higher beyond these tails, then we can look at potentially resistance at the top of the cloud up here at around 30. I'm just going to go over coffee. Coffee making another very bullish move over the cloud, but finding again topping tails. Seems like buyers are insecure and don't want to hold their positions as they're selling them not staying in their positions on these big candles. We have these big topping tails. We're, as you see, redlining. The RSI is overbought currently on coffee, so it could potentially need to flag sideways or perhaps even come down and test the cloud again at 129.35-ish. And that's going to do it for tonight's daily Ichimoku video. Thank you for joining me, and have a good night.